is how every time she sees Edward, she rapes a thesaurus. His sparkling, dazzling, wonderful, magnificent, topaz, brown, beautiful eyes. Just this whole fucking paragraph full of nothing but adjectives. Stephenie Meyer just took a thesaurus and raped it, like I said. And that's all the dialogue is. Okay, everyone around her is stupid but Edward. That's all that is. Okay. I don't know what my next reason is, but the reason after that is, okay, two very well-known authors have commented on both the series. On Cirque du Freak, you could see right on the cover that J.K. Rowling, author of Harry Potter, if you don't know, commented on Cirque saying it's a wonderful book, has macabre touches, la la la. I don't remember the entire quote, but basically J.K. Rowling said that Cirque du Freak was a really good series. Meanwhile, Stephen King, one of the original authors of vampires, said that Twilight was not a good series. I don't remember the quote either, but you can look it up. And any of the Twitards who say Stephen King is stupid, he's the one who pretty much made he and Anne Rice made vampires what they are today. Go try to read or watch Salem's Lot, okay? That was one of the original things that put vampires on the fucking map, okay? God. My next reason is Darren suffers and Edward really doesn't. Darren goes through becoming a vampire, leaving his family, getting his friends endangered all the time, going through trials where he could die if he fails once, or die in the trial. Then he has to go through finding the Lord of Vampanese, and I don't really care if I spoil the ending, I'm just stopping there. And he goes through all of that only in the first 6 books. Edward, he just has to worry. Edward really doesn't do anything. He's the one, to be fair, he puts Bella in these awful situations because he's such a rude little prick, but he came and saved the day. He comes and saved the day, so whatever. Because Edward really doesn't have any friends, and his family isn't really his family, so. My next reason is Mr. Shan did his vampire research. Like, he looked up all the pluses and minuses of vampires, like, you know, the garlic, the crosses, holy water, crossing rivers, chopping their heads off, la la la. And he decided to pick the ones that were good and even add some that would be kind of cool to add, like they can be seen in a mirror, but you can't take a picture of them. And Stephenie Meyer didn't really do anything. All she did was they have fangs and white skin. Otherwise, they can do it. Otherwise, nothing bothers them. They're not affected by garlic crosses, holy water. You can't really kill them since only vampires can kill each other, so stakes are out of the question. That's it. There's other than the fact that they're white and have fangs, it's not really well researched. I'm trying to not trail my thoughts off like I did in the first video, but yeah. Okay. Here is a reason that I thought of. Mr. Shan, he was first. He wrote Cirque in '98 and it got published in 2000. So he came first. And well, I'll get into that other reason later, but he also didn't get rejected from publishers 9 times before finally getting published by somebody. Stephenie Meyer went to 9 different publishers, they said no, and then Little Brown decided to publish it for some god-awful reason. And I hate the fact that they're both by the same publisher, but that's just another reason to think about. Darren Shan didn't get rejected once. His publisher went through the book, said, this is fucking amazing, poof. Came out 2 years later. Okay. My next reason is realistic characters. Not just Darren, but everybody else. Okay. None of the people in Twilight have flaws. And if you say that Bella's clumsiness is a flaw, No, it's not. Clumsiness is not a flaw. That just makes her so adorable and cute. She can cook relatively well. She's read everything by Shakespeare and Bronte and all this stuff. She's already done the science experiments. She's gorgeous and skinny. Nothing is wrong with her. Oh, I fell down. That's not a flaw. That's just a tick. Edward has nothing wrong with him either. Oh, I've never been in love for 100 years, despite how unrealistic that is. Meanwhile, Cirque people have billions of flaws. For example, Mr. Crepsley is very untrusting at first, which gets him in trouble in the third book. He has a fetish for spiders, not that that's really a flaw, just... Or, let's take, for example, Kurta. He seems like a very wonderful person, and he is, but he's leading a bit of a double life. He's putting on the front that he's about to become a prince and everything, but behind the scenes, he's leading this small band of Vampanese in Vampire Mountain, which we find out later that it's for a good reason, but he was essentially kind of stabbing them in the back, but at the same time kind of not. Okay, that's my next reason actually, Vampanese. Mr. Shan made Vampanese, which are the same thing essentially as vampires, except purple skin, red nails, lips, and eyes, and they are horribly different from vampires. They're not just vampires that live elsewhere and have different opinions. No. These are Vampanese, and I don't know where they live actually, but they're somewhere else, and they drain a person dry of blood when they feed. They don't just take a little bit like a regular vampire does. That is what makes them unique and unlike anything you've really ever seen. And nothing is really different about the vampires in Twilight other than they have red or... nothing is really different except for they have different feeding habits, but otherwise they're all the same. Whoosh, I can run fast. Whoosh, I play baseball in thunderstorms. That's it. My next one is the different endings. So obviously, I'm about to give stuff away. Cirque ending. Did not see any of it coming. Like, the second half of the 12th book, I just got mind-fucked. Every page I turned. Every single one, I just... Like, finding out that they were Mr. Tiny's sons, then how they killed each other, and then Darren comes back as a little person, and then he dies, and